Hey guys, are you a doctor or a dentist? High net worth professional? If so, you want to invest your hard-earned money into investments that will give you high rates of return, cash flows, tax advantages, and most importantly, without taking up too much of your time. That's what most of us is lacking most, is time. In this particular series of videos, we're going to break down the most important terms and definitions that you need to know as an investor. The best way to decrease chances of loss, the best way to decrease chances of heartache is by educating yourself first. This is what listening to channels just like this will give you. In this particular video, we are going to break down the concept of what is multifamily syndication, aka a multifamily apartment building. Some of you may or may not have heard about this asset class before, but it is a rapidly growing area of interest and investment dollars. And I think it's prudent that we should at least understand what this is. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm Johnny Walker from the Walk of Wealth. On this channel, we believe that education should be the forefront of any investment decision. And as a result, we created this channel to give a resource that doctors and dentists can go to get this information in an efficient and highly curated manner. Investing heavily in real estate over the last 13 years has allowed me to take a giant step back from my clinical practice, spend enormous times with my family, and go on 6 to 10 vacations per year. It also allows me to do what my passion is, which is invest in real estate and educating my fellow doctors and dentists on how they too can benefit from the advantages of real estate. Let's get started. So what is an apartment building syndication? Have you heard of this before? Have you invested in any of these before? I would love to know your experience with it. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. So now let's get into it. What is an apartment building syndication? What is a multifamily syndication? First, let's talk about what a multifamily property is, or AKA apartment buildings. For the rest of this video, I'm going to call it apartment building. Normally, multifamily can be something as little as 4 units, 5 units, 10 units, to something as great as 500 units. For the scope of this conversation, when we talk about apartment buildings, we talk about anything that have at least 25 to 50 units at a minimum. Economies of scale does not start until you have at least 25 to 50 units. That's what an apartment building is. Now, these buildings can range from a few $1 million to hundreds of millions of dollars, which pretty much excludes all and almost everybody from being able to invest in it if they were to do it individually. And that's where the syndication part comes in. So an apartment building syndication, very simply put, when a bunch of individual investors pool their capital so that they can buy a much more expensive property than they could individually afford themselves. Apartment building syndications are best used when buying large apartment building and communities that would be difficult or impossible for the parties involved to purchase and handle individually, which allows companies to pool resources from passive investors or limited partner investors and then use that money to buy the apartment building as well as implement the business plan for that property. Now, what are the main parties involved in an apartment building syndication? There's 3 main players. Number 1 is the general partner. Now, the general partner is the owner of the partnership and has unlimited liability, which means a lot of the risk and recourse that comes for a property will go directly against the general partner. The general partner is the one that manages the day-to-day operations of the business. And for apartment building syndications, the GP or general partner is also referred to as a sponsor or a syndicator. The GP is responsible for selecting the target investment, selecting and hiring the various team members, sourcing capital from private investors, and managing the overall apartment building project from start to finish. So they are the one that actually execute or implement the business plan. That's the general partner. The second big player in apartment building syndication is the limited partner, or LP. The limited partner's liability is limited only to the capital that they invest. The limited partner has a completely passive role in this process. Their involvement is only in the initial equity investment. After that, They don't have any control of the business plan, and they are completely hands-off or passive in this investment, except for reviewing investor reports and doing taxes at the end of the year. The liability is limited to only the capital that they invest. The third and last big player in apartment building syndication is the property management company. The property management companies, for the general partner or the GP, the property management company is probably the most important or valuable team members. The property management company functions to handle the day-to-day operations of the apartment building community and to execute the general partner's business plan. Now, property management can sometimes be part of the general partner, where the general partner has a property management company within its realms, or more commonly, they hire a third-party property management company and partner with them to work together. The general partner and the property management company work together to bring the business plan to fruition. Now, in an apartment building syndication, what are the pros and cons for it as a limited partner? And I'm going to really focus on the limited partner portion of this, because this is where most of us as passive investors will fall into the apartment building syndication team as limited partners. As a limited partner, we have a passive role, which is compelling, versus if you were to buy a single family home and have to find the deal, get the bank financing, manage it, get the construction done. All of that is on your hands. And so the time involvement is much less. Number two, the property management is done professionally, versus in a single family home, it's usually more of a mom and pop type of deal. Three, the biggest one for me is the low level of risk. Now, if you buy a single family home and you secure the mortgage, most likely you're going to have to do a personal guarantee. If any type of crazy event happens on the property, somebody gets killed and it exceeds your insurance policy, they can come after you personally. So there's a lot higher personal liability from an active investment. On an apartment building syndication, as a passive investor, on the other hand, there's no recourse personally, and the most that you can lose is your invested capital. So to sum it up, the two best things about being a limited partner is low liability as well as low time involvement, while at the same time maximizing returns. So that's basically it. This is a basic overview of what an apartment building syndication is. Hope you found that very informative, and click on the next video for more wealth building tips, more education, so that you can add rocket fuel to your wealth building process.